Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 4 to the 7 podcast. My name is Matt. If this is your first time, welcome. Happy to have you. And we're coming off of a series where both New York teams disappointed. Now, I'm going to start with the Mets because there's a little bit more with the Yankees. Simply, the Mets offense fell asleep in LA as I wanted to, watching all three of these games till 1 o'clock in the morning. They were boring games. Game 1, they got shut out. Game 2, hey, they got a run, but they were never close. It was a leadoff home run by Lindor, and immediately the Dodgers tied it up in the bottom half of the inning against Nolan McLean. McLean pitched a gem. Yamamoto pitched a gem. They were duking it out. The difference for the Mets was Brooks Raley coming in, who had pitched well before that outing, coming in and giving up a run on a blooper that just got down off the bat of Kyle Tucker. That's the difference. Alex Vesia comes in, strikes out the side, threw one pitch in the strike zone. He threw 10 pitches. One of them was in the strike zone, and he struck out the side. Alvarez swung at everything like he couldn't wait to get out of there. I mean, the Mets offense was again bad. And then yesterday, Jackie Robinson Day, Mets offense, they're facing Ohtani. They got Clay Holmes on the mound. All right, he's probably their number 3 at this point, so Holmes on the bump. Holmes was actually not bad yesterday. He didn't pitch bad. He gave up. What did he give up? He gave up the 2-run home run to Hai-Sung Kim. Then the Mets get a run. That was cool. Built a rally, and Lindor spoiled that one with a strikeout. They actually built a rally around MJ Melendez to hit 2 doubles. He hit an RBI ground rule double, which prevented probably 2 runs from scoring there. So it was 3-1 going into Tobias Myers gave up a solo home run to Teoscar to lead off. I think it was the 6th inning. And then going into the 8th inning, this is less on – this is going to be tough. It's less on Devin Williams, what happened in the 8th inning, where he gave up the grand slam. It was more on Mendoza because wrong ex-Yankee closer. I can't speak. Williams gets a ground ball to lead the inning off, and Lindor made a horrible effort on it, and Teoscar's safe at first. Then it was a walk. And then Pa has singles off the wall that, if they didn't think it was going to get down, probably scores 2 runs. Then to Dalton rushing, he gives up the grand slam that breaks it open. But Williams hadn't been used in a week, over a week. He hadn't been used since their last win against the Arizona Diamondbacks, the walk-off from Ronnie Mauricio. And all of a sudden, he's supposed to come in and be effective. Now, I'm sure he was doing side sessions and other stuff like that. He wasn't good. He simply was just not good. And his changeup wasn't effective, and he gets rocked. Then the Dodgers got to sit down Edwin Diaz. They got Kyle Hart, I think, up and brought him into the game. He gave up a run in the 9th inning. It was over by that point. Obviously Tucker homered off the next guy out of the bullpen for the Mets. And it's just, you knew it was going to happen. Maybe they got out of there winning 1. I had said before the series, I don't see them winning 1. The way they were playing, the way the Dodgers are built, the way the Dodgers are playing, you knew everything was going to fall the Dodgers' way, because somehow it always does. Right? Every call goes their way. Every ball lands their way. Tough luck. But the Mets also didn't play inspired baseball in the series. Like, they just didn't play a brand of baseball that was good. They didn't. So the Mets are now heading into Wrigley Field, and the Cubs, they just took 2 out of 3 in Philly. They looked okay doing so. So now you're going to face the Cubs for 3 games in Wrigley Field, all day games, which is kind of a nice break after 3 straight night games. At 10:05. And you hope that they can get out of there with one. Because their offense is dormant. They are boring to watch offensively. They don't score. Like, if it was a barn burner game where, where it's like 11-10, or they at least gave a fighting shot in the ninth inning in two of these games that were save situations, it would have been a little bit more digestible. Alex Vesia didn't throw a fucking strike the other night. He threw one pitch down the strike zone. They're not playing good baseball. I don't know how you fix it. From everyone I've talked to, Mendoza and Stearns are fine. They're not on the hot seat. But something needs to change. Who's going to go? Are they going to fire Troy Snicker, the hitting coach that they just brought in? That's a bad look. Who do you fire? This is bad. Do you have to phantom IL Francisco Lindor, who probably has a concussion? What do you do? Do you wait for Soto to come back and magically think that this is all going to fix itself? Guess what? They weren't scoring with Soto. Soto's going to make a difference. I'm not denying that. That's not what I mean. What I am saying is they weren't scoring with great regularity with Soto in the lineup. They were losing with him in the lineup. What makes us think that all of a sudden he's the fucking answer, that they're going to flip the switch and all of a sudden they're going to go on a run? They can. I'm not saying they can't. The bullpen's a disaster. Luke Weaver was a dumpster fire with the Yankee last year after he got hurt at Dodger Stadium. He was a dumpster fire when he came back from that, when they rushed him back from that injury. Let me alibi that. They rushed him back from that injury. It was supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks. He was back in 4. They rushed him back because that bullpen couldn't survive without him. And they rushed him back from the injury, and he was sucked after that. And he was horrible. And now he's there on the Mets on a big-term contract. Good for Luke. He's a great guy. He's a really nice family man. He's a dumpster fire. Devin Williams, it didn't work in New York last year. There's a reason. Okay? Michael K. says this on his radio show, and he says it. Ari Jacoby Ellsbury, for any Yankee fan watching who's probably wants to throw their thing at me right now for bringing that name up, that there was a reason, and we all know it now, that the Boston Red Sox didn't touch him in free agency. That when a rival of yours, even though the Yankees and Mets are loosely rivals, but at the least, when a rival of yours does not touch a free agent that goes on the market that they just had, there's a reason for it. The Yankees wanted no part in Devin Williams coming back, whether that was his attitude in the clubhouse and locker room, which rumblings have indicated that wasn't always the most enthused guy to have around. Not like a clubhouse cancer or an issue, but maybe could have shown a little bit more enthusiasm about being in New York. And I think that kind of popped up on his introductory press conference, frankly, where he admitted in his press conference that he thought he was being traded to the Dodgers. It was a shock to him coming to New York. So the bullpen for the Mets is a disaster. Jesse Minter hopefully is supposed to come back in the month of May. And you need that because he's another high leverage arm that if Williams is springing a leak, you could stick him back there. Devin Williams isn't Edwin Diaz, okay? And I think we all know this. Edwin Diaz was tougher than him and was able to go into an outing. He was able to go into an outing in any situation if they're down just to get runs and not really blow up. Well, now Devin Williams threw a lot of pitches. They're off today. They could probably use them tomorrow if it's a safe situation in Chicago. And if anyone knows him and knows how he pitches, it's the Cubs manager, Craig Counsell. He was his manager in Milwaukee up until 24. So Pete Alonso is still haunting the Mets because if we wanted to blame Pete Alonso last year for breaking Devin Williams when he was a Yankee and couldn't get you out, we could still blame him now because there's an issue there. He he was a problem last year for the Yankees until he blows a couple saves here for the Mets. Last night's a little bit more excusable. I mean, he turned a one-run game into a laugher late, which is bad. But that is what it is. Let's go across town. Let's go to the Bronx. The Yankees just split 4 games with the Angels. I'll start with this. They are lucky to have split 4 games with the Los Angeles Angels. Because if we're being frank, we should be sitting here right now saying, is Aaron Boone getting fired today? Because they've lost 10 in a row. Because save for Jordan Romano coming into 2 games, the Yankees should have lost 9 or 10 in a row and gotten swept at home by the Angels. Mike Trout and Oswald Peraza, one of which is a Hall of Famer you decipher, because both of them hit like it this series, owned the Yankees. They pitched. I mean, their bullpen isn't really something to write home about. Jordan Romano was horrible. They got to the other guy the other night, Sean Anderson. They got to him pretty good. Monday night was your classic barn burner. They fought that whole game. That was good to see that they fought and they fought back. Like, when was the last time they came back from down 2 runs, tied the game in the 9th, and automatically walked it off? Don't remember when. That's great. Jordan Romano will forever be haunted by Yankee Stadium. Always. And there were good signs in the series. Jazz Chisholm had a couple of hits. He's going to pick it up. I liked what I saw from him today. Towards the end of the game, he started to drive the ball. Giancarlo with the home run today. He was driving the ball even in the 9th inning last night, where that player made a phenomenal catch on what would have been a line drive over his head. If that was any higher, the game's tied. If it was any lower, it's a double in the gap. He's standing second. And if he was, the game would have been over a lot quicker because the bases would have been loaded, no one out. And the Caballero base hit would have just been that. They probably would have brought the infield in. So good from the Yankees. Austin Wells was productive this series. He didn't start today, but he was productive in this series. He was on base pretty much all day yesterday. That was a big part of the game. Dropped the bunt. He walked twice, including in the 9th inning, scored the winning run. He was productive, and he holds down this pitching staff. Something I noticed today with J.C. Escarra behind the plate. He doesn't call as good of a game as Austin Wells, which I know we all like to bitch, moan, and complain about Wells' offense. I know we all like to sit here and say, well, let's just put Rice behind the plate. Part of the calculus is defense. Part of the calculus is what Wells does really well, and it's call games. And he has a good relationship with these pitchers. And he knows what he's doing. He's really good at that stuff. And that's part of Boone's calculus, believe it or not. So having Austin Wells behind the plate is valuable. You want more offensively from him, and he should be able to hit for power, right? He might not be an average guy, but he's going to hit for power. And that's what you want. An RBI guy at the bottom of the lineup, maybe, and he knows how to work a walk. That never went away. He was always able to work a walk in a big spot. That at bat by Jordan Romano, he was overmatched. But you know what? Romano's never gotten him out in the big leagues. Right? Wells came up in 23. He hit the 2-run home run off him in Toronto. And he's walked twice in the series. Those are the 3 plate appearances he's had against him. He hasn't walked against. He hasn't gotten out against him. Austin Wells was fine this series. Aaron Judge, 4 home runs in the series. Yeah, 4. Good. That doubled his total on the year. He's heating up at the right time. Ben Rice, great this series. On base. Obviously, took an 0 for the other day. Didn't start the day before, but got the sacrifice fly to give them their only run on Tuesday. And obviously, he worked at bats on Monday and was frankly very good. Trent Grisham showed a pulse in this series. He had the clutch RBI 2-run single yesterday. He had the 2 home runs on Monday. He didn't start on Tuesday either. Today, obviously a mixed bag, but he flew out to the track and Adele kind of robbed him there at the wall, right? Or else that's 2 runs. Maybe 3 if it sneaks. So good signs from the offense. Jose Caballero has a clutch gene, and he hit today. He had 2 hits today and a walk, I believe. He was fine today, and he's been okay. The issue offensively right now has been Ryan McMahon. I can't watch this guy defensively. I mean offensively. Defensively is one thing. He's been fine defensively. I can't watch this guy hit. It's like torture. Like if there was genuinely a list of things I'd rather do, I don't know if I would take the electric chair over watching Ryan McMahon hit. But you know what? The best part of last night's win, and winning when they did, and while scoring that run, is I didn't have to see him hit. Or Boone contemplate putting Rosario up there. Because guess what? They would have countered. They would have gone to Savannah for Rosario. Actually, no, they wouldn't. They would have stuck with Romano. What am I saying? If Big Man went up there. I don't like McMahon has no approach at the plate. He's not a good hitter. He can defend like anybody else, but for 16 million, this is your big production. So at this point, because the issues on this Yankee team are very obvious, I'm going to get to the other one in a second. The biggest issue on this Yankee team we haven't gotten to yet. We'll get there because I have some thoughts and things to say on that. But there are 2 big issues on this Yankee team. One of them is Ryan McMahon. And you better believe if this doesn't turn around on August 4th against the St. Louis Cardinals, that's Tuesday, by that date, there'll be somebody else in the lineup at third base. And don't give me, Cashman doesn't care, Hal doesn't care. They want to win. And they know that this could be the year with the Judge window. And they know this team is good. And this team is special. Because they are. And that's why it's so fucking frustrating to watch them play the way they have in the past week and a half. Because they're better than this. They know they're better than this. They're better than how they played today. They're better than how they've been. The Kansas City Royals are coming into town this weekend. It's going to be a lot of good pitching this weekend. All right, this isn't going to be a bunch of barn bursts. Michael Wacha's coming in with an ERA under 1 in 3 starts. The Royals have also lost a ton of games lately. They've been horrible. So let's see what they look like. They scored 8 runs today and lost. Their bullpen has been rough. They're missing Angel Zerpa back there. This Yankee team is better than what they've shown. And they're going to need McMahon to be capable on offense. And I just don't think he can do it. And therefore, and there lies the rub. It's an issue. Ryan McMahon's a big problem offensively. And defensively, he's been fine. Not great, fine. Now let's get to the other part of this Yankee team. The other glaring hole. It's their bullpen. I got yelled at on X in the Seattle series when they got walked off. Lost 1. When I said this bullpen's going to rear its ugly head at some point. The depth in the bullpen, because of the way it was set up, is bad. And I was told they have the best bullpen on the planet. They are wrong. Because you have both Blackburn and Yarborough in that bullpen. You're taking away having another long man back there. I mean, having another middle reliever, high-end reliever. They needed someone else this offseason. Jake Bird hasn't cut it, even though Boone says he's throwing the ball really well. He helped contribute to what was almost a catastrophic loss on Monday night. Angel Chavi, I think is how you say his name. I don't know what to say about him. His stuff is filthy. He has no command, and he gives up home runs. He walked 2, gave up the homer to Trout, struck out 2. Okay. Fernando Cruz his last few times out, he's been very ineffective. He can't find the zone. Balls everywhere. Walking guys. Why did he get in trouble today? Because he walked the batter. That's why he gave up the 2-run single to Lowe, because he issued a walk in front of him. I have less of an issue with, obviously, Yarborough gave up the grand slam to Adele, who's always hit him. But they intentionally walked Trout. Why? Because the umpire called a bullshit balk that even Boone went out, and Boone said in his post game that he did not go out intending to get thrown out today. He went out because he wanted an explanation, and he said the umpires got soft and threw him out of the game because he asked for an explanation. And then he told the umpire, and I'm quoting him because I read his lips, that's a fucking bullshit balk call. And he got thrown out. And you know what? If I were him, I wouldn't have left the field until they ushered me back to the dugout. The way my team has been playing, I would have lost my mind. And I would have gone nuts. I would have gone nuts on plays that strike calls at the plate after the Yankees lost their 2 challenges because Jazz Chisholm and Trent Grisham don't know how to challenge. Jazz Chisholm cannot challenge. He's 1 for 5 on challenges this year. 1 for 6, whatever it is. He's horrible at challenging. And guess what? He walked anyway in the at-bat, but normally he gets emotional. And it's like he gets in his head and he swings for the fences. So yeah, the bullpen is a problem. David Bednar, I think, has been fine. His last couple of outings have been better. Obviously, the one in Tampa is not on him. Someone's like, how about Bednar does his job? Bednar did his job. Guess what? They couldn't field behind him. Jazz Chisholm had an easy inning-ending double play there. You tag Yandy and throw, maybe not easy because Bellinger was in front of him. But he had the lane for an inning-ending double play. They had the lane for the first out at first base and let the tying run score. And then nobody moves up. They had the lane for that. It would have been no one on, bases clear. They had the lane for that. 1 out, nobody on. It didn't happen because the defense failed him. And then he had the A's outing where he retired them in order. He was great last night. Struck out 2, fly out, boom, bing, bang, boom. Get Romano in this game, and let's see if we could torture this guy for a second straight outing. And guess what? They did. And that's how they split this series. You take a split. I take a split. Because I was talking to a lot of Angel fans. Angel fans deserve this team to be good. They deserve to see Mike Trout go off like he did. You know what? I'm so happy the Angels are out of town because I want to flip on a West Coast game when I no longer have classes and I'm bogged down and stuff. When I'm home and the Yankees win a good game, I write my story, get it out on social media, listening to Boone, all them talk. I want to be able after that to flip on a West Coast game, Angels versus name your pick at 10:10 at 9:40 our time or 10:10, whatever the hell they start. And watch that. That's what I want to be able to do. And watch Mike Trout hit. And watch that team. Because I think they're actually a very good team. I do. I think that when they have some high-end relievers that are currently on the injured list, that when they come back, I think they're going to be a force. I wouldn't be shocked with the expanded wild card. They sneak in. Like, they're good. Give Trout 1 run. I wouldn't. I mean, they don't have the funding, but if it's not big salary coming on the books, I wouldn't put it past them to make a big deal at the deadline and bring someone in to help push them across the finish line. They're a solid team. Now, I might be going nuts because I watched them against the Yankees and they're 500 currently. But I'm also putting it on they should have swept the series, and the Yankees were lucky. It's sometimes luck is the residue of design. That the Yankees designed this team, and the quotes coming out of the clubhouse, we're never dead. If there are still outs on the board, we're never dead. Really, because you looked pretty fucking dead today, and there were outs on the board. At 11-4, there were still outs. Let's not forget, you got blown out twice in the series. And you know what? Yeah, you're ace on the mound today. Who didn't pitch well? Max Fried didn't pitch well today. At all. Boone should have pulled him when he issued the walk to Neto. No. He issued the walk 1 out in the 6th inning before Trout. They should have yanked him. And they didn't. And then obviously, I think they just put Trout on in that spot. That's when they should have pulled him. With 2 on and 1 out. And then that's where you go to Cruz. Not when he gives up the hit and then it's the double to Peraza and it's second and third and 1 man out. That's when I would have gone to the bullpen. And that might have saved Fried. Because I think Cruz would have pitched to Peraza differently. Peraza probably wouldn't have stood a chance against the splitter. And then it's 2 in scoring position. It's no one in, there's 1 in scoring position for Von Grissom, who just gets that hit up the middle. And I think defensively they play differently. So yeah, there were definitely things today. Now this bullpen might be fine, but I think there are glaring issues with this bullpen that they need to address. Obviously, the rehab clock for Garrett Cole starts tomorrow. He'll be back before Rodon. That clock is starting tomorrow. And when it starts, it's going to tick. And when he's back by the middle of May, he will be back by May 17th, the latest. That's when he has to come off. Monday, May 18th. Let's see where they are that day. That's when he should be back. By Monday, May 18th, he has to be back. The latest. Toronto's coming to town. That's right after the Subway Series in Queens. Toronto comes to town. That's when he needs to be back by. I'm not saying needs to be back for team on the field reasons. MLB puts in the like rules how long a player can be on a rehab assignment. So that's why like Anthony Volpe can only be on a rehab assignment for a certain amount of time. He'll be back probably for that Subway Series in Queens. He should be back right around then. Not maybe a little bit earlier. He had a hit tonight in Somerset. Good approach from him. We'll see. Maybe he hits. I think he's probably going to be better defensively than Caballero. Even though Caballero, after making a really bullshit play earlier in the series, he kind of clutched up and made some spectacular defensive plays last night, along with driving in the winning runs. And last night, that was the first time that the Yankees had won the game on a hit from first base like that. Like the winning run scores from first. Like that since I have like the Astros Rockies in the background. There was just a challenge. The pitch was like in the dirt and it was called a strike. These umps. That's the guy who threw Jazz out last year in Tampa. Oh, God. Anyways, the Yankee bullpen needs to be fixed. But if Garrett Cole can come back, if Anthony Volpe can come back and be solid, you would take that. And that opens up Caballero to spell McMahon at third a little bit more. That opens up a lot of avenues for the Yankees. When Garrett Cole comes back, the Yankees will probably have one of the best rotations in baseball. Why? Because they're going to have guys that go deep into games. What was one of the biggest problems, even in the games they won this series? The Luis Seal didn't go deep yesterday. Max Fried didn't go particularly deep today, but you excuse it because he's gone deep in every other game. Ryan Weathers has gone deep in one game this year. Actually, the other day he held his own. I'll give him that. He was getting lit up and he held his own, and there were encouraging signs from him. And I think him going into a bullpen role where he's like a higher leverage, medium to high leverage guy and can just pump 100 in the strike zone if he can find it. I think that benefits the Yankees and benefits him. But Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon coming back gives this team probably the best pitching rotation in the American League. And I think, remember before I gave that August 4th date for a new third baseman, if it continues that bad, I'll give that same August 4th date. That by that time, by first pitch at that time, on the active roster will be whoever one of the top relievers in baseball that gets moved at the deadline is. I'd be willing to make a bet that the Yankees find out whoever the highest coveted reliever to move at this deadline is, without giving out too much information. For sake of trades in general, I would start hoping that the Astros lose every game. Currently, they lead 2-1 in the bottom of the third against Colorado. We should be hoping that they lose every single game. And there are some other teams around the league. Tampa, you want them to lose a lot. I don't know if they deal with the Yankees in division, but they have some intriguing pen arms. There'll be some, obviously the Giants, they do deal with the Yankees. There are some intriguing arms there. There are some intriguing arms all around the league. Obviously, there's a lot of time between now and August 4th. We could be looking up and it's like, okay, this bullpen's pretty good. They have, one rough one every couple of days. But in games where, like last night, where they had to be perfect in order for the Yankees to win that game, they were. So we have to see. We have to give them a chance. I don't think they're a great bullpen. I think that whoever the top, like I keep saying, whoever the top reliever to move will be in the Yankee bullpen. You know what? The Yankees see Kansas City this weekend. You hope they lose all 3 games, the Royals do, because Lucas Ekridge, I think his name is, he's a pretty nasty reliever. You would like maybe to get him, or if the Brewers keep losing, or if the Brewers are losing, Angel Zerpa. Like the Toronto Blue Jays aren't dealing in division, or else there's some intriguing names in that bullpen. The Blue Jays have not been good this year, like at all. Like nothing close to good. The Yankees have at least held their own. Like you could argue that there are some games that if the ball bounces their way, like in the Tampa series, the Yankees will have had more wins than they do now. It's gonna correct. And you know what? I was saying to others today, I'd rather this team struggle right now. Like in the first few weeks of the season, end of April. I'd rather them struggle now. And they better figure it out because they head up to Fenway Park on Tuesday. And you know what? The Yankees need to take 2 or 3, if not sweep the Boston Red Sox, because the Red Sox aren't good and the Yankees aren't seeing Crochet. They're getting Connolly early. They're getting Ranger Suarez, Connolly early, and I forget who the third guy is. That's who they're getting in that series. The third guy might be Brian Bayo, who's kind of had the Yankees number, but these last 2 starts he hasn't. Let me actually see. This game's on Fox nationally. Cool. Great. Super fun. Love when they're on national TV. Let me see if ESPN tries to project this stuff, and they're normally like always wrong when they try and project things. But for sake of what we're talking about here, I'll see if I can project Game 3. It is Brian Bayo against Cam Schlittler. Game 2 would be Max Fried against Ranger Suarez. Advantage Yankees. And then Game 1 is Luis Heel, who's owned the Red Sox, against Connolly early. Like, if Luis Heel's ever needed a bounce back outing in his career, and the Red Sox are very heavily favored in that one. Yankees are favored in the Fried start. Yankees are very heavily favored in the Schlittler start. And then they head to Houston. And how about this? They have Burrow's going for the Astros, it looks like. And they're favored against Bill Warren. Burrows is 1-3 with a 6.5 ERA. Like down there, the Yankees will fucking torch them. It's so funny to me that Judge is batting 236 on the year, and we're talking about him like he's revered right now because he is. Because he's actually been hitting. But this is a big weekend for both New York teams. The Yankees need to win at least 2 out of 3 against the Royals, if not sweep them. And if they don't, I'll be on here on Monday on the off day, and I'll be screaming my head off because the Royals aren't, world beaters here. All right, it's going to be tough pitching. Cole Reagans has not been good this year, but he's always a tough matchup. You never write him off. Michael Wacha has been fantastic, as I believe the Rockies just tied the game against the Astros. That's got to be a home run. Yeah. Hunter Goodman just hit a home run. That was an absolute fucking moonshot. My God. He's a good catcher, this kid. But yeah, the Yankees need to win. And the Mets need to come home with a win. They can't get swept on the road trip. They need to come home with something. You can't get swept on this road trip. Anyways, that's going to do it for me and for this conversation. I enjoyed talking some baseball with everybody on this Thursday night, April 16th. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Have a great day. And let's go Yankees and Mets. And let's have a good weekend, please. And make these games somewhat watchable.